What is up, guys? I am back, and with the NFL season coming very close, I decided it's probably time to do some of my predictions. So, why not? I'm gonna predict all the records of each team in the NFL this year. I'm gonna you already know everybody on YouTube has been doing this now since the season is coming up. This is not proper attire. I gotta represent. All right, so we're going to do these predictions. I'm going to start from the AFC, go to East, go from East, West, North, South. Actually, that's not a good order. North, South, East, West. We'll do that, and we'll switch off divisions with each one. All right. This is going to make me look like a total idiot with all these predictions. All right, let's do this. Starting with the AFC North. All right. Last place in the division, we got the Bengals. I have them being 14-3. Burrow's coming off a major knee injury. The O-line is still pretty bad. Jamar Chase, he's dropping passes. I can't improvise. He drops more passes than Nelson Aguilar at this point. I hope that he does improve on his pass catching game, but at this rate, from what I've seen from him and what I've seen from the team, I do not see them going any more than 4 games a win. They might squeak out some other victories here and there and maybe manage 6. I see 6 as their ceiling, but currently I see them at a 14-3 record. Next, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're going to regress pretty significantly. They lost most of their O-line. Ben Roethlisberger isn't getting any younger. Juju Smith-Schuster is a fucking douchebag. I have them going 9-8. With Big Ben getting older, the fact that they don't really have a efficient running game, they're going to be as one-dimensional as ever as they were in the last season. They're going to be going 9-8, and they're going to be tied with the next team on this list, the Ravens. I also have them going 9-8. They upgraded the receiving core by adding Sammy Watkins, but you're forgetting one thing. Lamar Jackson can barely throw. He's really relying on his legs. The offense around him is all based on Lamar Jackson's proficiency to run, and I have a feeling that defenses have had time to finally figure out how to counter all this. So it's not going to be because Lamar Jackson can't perform. It's going to be because defenses finally were able to adapt to his style of play. The defense on their side is still going to be pretty good. Mark Andrews, he's still one of the best tight ends in the league. One of the best tight ends in the league. Not the. And, yeah, they're going to be going 9-8, and I'm probably going to be shot by a lot of people when they watch this, even though only about 5 people usually watch my shit. All right, first place in the division, we got the Cleveland Browns. I got them going 14-3. The dynamic duo of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, that's their game plan most of the time. If they need Baker Mayfield to perform, he can perform. He can throw all the kinds of passes they need him. The receiving core is arguably one of the best in the league. They got Odell Beckham Jr. They got Odell Beckham Jr. I can't fucking talk. Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry. That's arguably the best duo in the league. Arguably. Mike Evans and Kirk Cousins is better. And that defense just only got stronger. They made some upgrades in the secondary to help them out. And other than the Chiefs and the Bills, I have no reason to think that they won't have any problem come playoff time. I have them going 14-3 and taking the AFC North. All right, on to the NFC North. Starting at the bottom, I am sorry, Joy. She's going to be mad at me. I have the Lions going 2-15. We all know that the Lions are rebuilding. They just shipped off Matt Stafford. They got rid of pretty much any good player they have other than TJ Hawkinson. They let go of an aging Adrian Peterson. They drafted Penei Sewell, but the way he looked in preseason, he didn't look all that good. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but I saw multiple times when defenders just booked by him. Now, those may be just rookie mistakes, and he still has to develop some. But right now, nothing is going to be going their way. That defense they have right now, the Capital defense on January 7th was a better defense than these people. I have the Lions going 2-15. Don't argue with me. It's going to happen. Up next, we got the Minnesota Vikings. I got them going 7-10. Kirk Cousins, he's a stat patter. Let's just admit that right now. He can't win you the games, but he puts up good stats nonetheless. That defense was one of the worst that Minnesota had last year. And I'll give them credit. It was mainly because they weren't healthy. But at the same time, the lack of depth shows that they really don't have the team they need if the starters go down. Now, if their defense is full healthy for the rest of the year, I see them squeaking out maybe 8 and 9 wins, but the quarterback is not the best. The O-line is not one of the best. Dalvin Cook, he's still good. If they really want to try and win, they got to really run heavily on Dalvin Cook. I got the Vikings going 7-10. All right, up next we got the Chicago Bears. I got them going 8-9. Right off the bat, we already know Andy Dalton's going to start for them this year, and pretty good reason why. Justin Fields, he's not ready. He's not ready to be taking those gigantic hits right now. That O-line is still pretty suspect, so they don't want to get their future quarterback already out the door and injured. Bengals. And I do not think that Matt Nagy is going to be trying to do what's best for the franchise. They're trying to save jobs here. So they're going to be starting the veteran to try and save those jobs, and if they don't work, and he doesn't work out, they're going to try and start Justin Fields to try and save their jobs, and it's just going to be a continuing cycle until eventually the end of the season comes over and everybody's fired. Anyways, I got the Chicago Bears going 8-9. The defense is still pretty good. They still got Khalil Mack, one of the best defensive players right now in the NFL. And there really is no other way to overcome the offensive struggles that the Bears will have this year. Up next, we got first place in the NFC North. We got the Green Bay Packers. I got them going 11-6. The Packers are still very good. They're going to be missing David Bakhtiari for the first 5 games of the season, and that's really going to hurt them. Because we've seen what happens if one of your best linemen go down. We saw it in the NFC Championship. We saw it during the Super Bowl. We saw what happens if your best offensive linemen go down. So we saw what happens, and I think they can manage those first 5 weeks, and I think they're going to continue winning after that. They're going to rebound, and I see them going on a winning streak that'll get them up to 11-6. The defense is still pretty good, save from Kevin King. Aaron Rodgers is still pretty pissed, and we all know that he plays pretty good when he's pretty pissed. But yeah, 11-6, I see them doing that. All right, that's the North. Let's head to the South. The AFC South, we got these fucking guys over here. We got the Houston Texans first. 2-15, the worst team in the AFC. These guys are going to be tanking. They're going to be trying to get a new quarterback. What happened with Deshaun Watson, I still don't think any of those allegations are true. But where there's smoke, there's fire. And right now, there's plenty of smoke. The defense is still horrid. The weapons got downgraded after Will Fuller left. They got a rotating carousel at running back right now. They even had a safety as their kicker. This is not going to be a good team by any means. They're going to be awful. Probably worse than the Lions. They got nothing on that franchise worth getting. All right, up next we got the Colts at 7-10. Now, before you crucify me, it's only based on Carson Wentz's injury history. His history of getting hurt, especially I can't talk. His injury history is pretty bad. Every time he gets hurt, his confidence goes down, and he's already not very confident after what happened last year. I know he's back with his former offensive coordinator, and that should help him. But with that injury history, I do not see him doing as well many people will think. All right. Up next, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars. I also got them going, what the hell? All right, can someone explain to me how this happened? The Jaguars are 5-12, but they're somehow ahead of the Colts, who are 7-10. Joy, can you help me here? They're a rebuilding team. Jacksonville, they got a new quarterback. They're completely rebuilding here. They got a new head coach. I don't see them winning no more than 6 games. I guess they somehow squeak wins in the division and end up tying the Colts and have somehow a better divisional record. I need to talk to playoff predictors. There's no way that fucking happened. 5-12, but you're tied in the division. This is not basketball or baseball. That's not how it works. All right, top dogs in the AFC North. I got the Tennessee Titans at a 12-5 record. They just got Julio Jones. Derrick Henry is going to be as dominant as ever. Ryan Tannehill, he might be more of a game manager at this point in his career, but he can still throw the ball pretty proficiently. That defense is still pretty bad, especially that secondary. But they've tried to make upgrades by adding, who is it, Bud Dupree from the Pittsburgh Steelers? Yeah. They try to make upgrades on it. So far, it looks like they have been good. They're going to be taking the division because of how weak it is right now. They got the Texans, who are in full tank mode. They got the Colts, who got a new quarterback. The Jacksonville Jaguars are trying to rebuild, and it's not going to be going good over there in the AFC South. So I'll take Tennessee at 12-5 and winners of the division. All right, up to the NFC South. Whew. All right, first on this list, I got the Falcons going 5-12. We all know that offense is going to be pretty good. They just added Kyle Pitts. They still have Matt Ryan. They still have Calvin Ridley. They still got all the offensive weapons they need to put up a ton of points. But that defense, they barely did anything to fix that defense. And what they did do is get rid of all the problems they had, but they just came back with even more mediocre players on that side of the ball. I don't think they're going to choke as many games as they did last year. I think most of these are just going to be straight blowouts. They're going to be blowouts or shootouts. You choose one. I have them going 5-12 in last place in the NFC South. Up next, we got the Pittsburgh Panthers. College football is this Saturday, okay? That's one of the games I'm going to be watching. We got the Carolina Panthers. I got them going 6-11. Sam Darnold looks pretty good. He looked pretty good in preseason. They got one of the better wide receiver cores. They got one of the best running backs in the NFL, Chris McCaffrey. That defense is still trying to rebuild. That secondary is still pretty suspect. The front four, they can get to the quarterback, but they can't handle the running game very well. We saw that last year a whole lot. Really, if they want to win games, it all depends on if Sam Darnold has a better year than he has in all those times with the Jets. And frankly, I'm happy for him for getting out of that situation. But if you wanted to win games, you should not have came to the NFC South. That's like the worst place you could have came to. All right. Up next, we got the New Orleans Saints. I got them at 7-10. Drew Brees is gone. Michael Thomas is going to be missing some significant time. They just released Latavius Murray. Their cornerbacks are possibly being suspended. They're still waiting on the hearing on that. They lost half of their defensive starters from last year because of the salary cap. They're going to be in a grace mode at this point. They're going to try and win games. They're not going to lose a whole lot by a whole lot of points, but they're still going to be trying to fight to stay in the playoff picture, even though they lost a whole lot of people. Jameis Winston is still a gigantic question mark. I dealt with him for 5 years, okay? If the Saints want any chance to win, they got to really lean on the running game and make sure that Jameis Winston is confident in his decision-making before he chucks the ball downfield. Because Sean Payton might be a quarterback guru, but he's not going to be able to control Jameis Winston's decision-making as we all think we will. Troll, you might disagree with me, but I think the Saints are going to 7-10. They're going to get second place in the NFC South. Now, this is really going to piss off Troll. I have first place in the division, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 15-2. I see their only 2 losses being against Buffalo and the Rams, and that's it. I see them sweeping the division. They brought back every starter from the Super Bowl team last year. There's really no major weakness other than wanting better cornerback play. But Carlton Davis, he proved he can handle it by his own. Sean Murphy-Bunting had a beautiful performance during the playoffs. There's really no reason to think that this team can't bowl through the NFC South, especially with this week of a schedule they have. I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going 15-2, and winners of the NFC South. All right, off to the AFC East. This thing. All right, first on that, we got the Jets going 4-13. The Jets are rebuilding. They just brought in a new quarterback. They just brought in Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator from San Francisco. I hope that they eventually do get to the point where they can win a ton of games. It's just that Zach Wilson's a big question mark. The offensive line is still a big question mark. The entire team is a big question mark. I have high hopes for Robert Saleh. We saw what he did in San Francisco with that defense. I hope he can bring what he did there to the Jets and help improve that defense, which was like last in the league in most categories behind the Houston Texans. So, I have them going 14-3, last place in the AFC East. I'm an idiot. All right. Next, with third place in the AFC East, I got the Dolphins going 8-9. Ryan Fitzpatrick was the reason they won a bunch of those games, just because he was able to clutch up when it mattered most. Tua, I don't have high hopes for him. I already see him as a bust, but he's a rookie. I won't be too harsh. He's a rookie. He made rookie mistakes. But this year's going to be a prove-it year for him. He's got to prove to this organization that he is their quarterback of the future. They just lost a few starters on offense that help them combine for at least 10 of the sacks they had. They lost Kyle Van Noy, and they lost an edge rusher. I don't remember his name, but somebody. I don't remember his name. But that defense got weaker. The offense got weaker by the leaving of Ryan Fitzpatrick. They don't have him to go to whenever Tua starts to struggle. I have them going 8-9, and I think they're going to be starting to looking for a new quarterback after that. Again, Tua, he has to prove himself this year. He has to prove that he's the starter he actually is going to be the starter for the Dolphins. All right, up next we got the New England Patriots at 9-8. Second place in the AFC East. Bill Belichick went on a freaking spending spree in free agency. He got back Kyle Van Noy. He brought in Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. He brought in Stonehands Aguilar. He was trying to overhaul the passing department as much as he could, especially after last year. And I think he's going to be out to try and prove something this year too. He's going to try and prove that Brady wasn't the reason for his success. He's going to prove he can win games without Brady, just like how Brady's trying to prove he can win games without Belichick. Basically, this entire feud between the two of them is just going to keep going on until one of them retires. The defense, it's still going to be as good as ever. They're still going to be pretty strong defensively. Stephon Gilmore is still up for trade rumors, but I don't see the Patriots getting rid of him. I don't. If it wasn't for the next team on this list, they probably would take the NFC, but unfortunately, this is one of the strongest opponents you can face. Next, we got the champions of the AFC East, the Buffalo Bills. I have them taking the AFC East with a 15-2 record. They're going to be one of the most dominant teams you'll probably see. Josh Allen's only getting better and better. The receivers are still good. Stephon Gilmore is still a threat to go at least 1,500 yards again a year this year. He went 1,400 last year. I have a feeling he's going to get 1,500 this year. If they develop a good running game, then they should be able to easily win the AFC East. There's no question about it. They should be able to win this easily, especially with that much superstardom on the roster. So, Buffalo Bills at 15-2, winning the AFC East. And, yeah, that's it. All right, next we got the NFC East. Starting with last place in the division, the Philadelphia Eagles with a 2-15 record. They got a glorified running back as their quarterback right now. They just traded for Gardner Minshew, who's not going to be much better. That offensive line is still pretty bad. The receiving weapons are only give drops. They got Devonta Smith. I'll give him that. But we still don't know how he's going to do. That defense is still pretty awful. They're going to be going in full rebuild mode. Nick Sirianni, to me, at least comes off as an idiot. So, 2-15, I have them going. They're probably going to win those 2 games by just pure luck. I have them being the worst team in the NFL. Only the Houston Texans could probably be worse. Up next, we got the New York Giants at 6-11. Daniel Jones is going to be fighting for his job right now. He's proven to be one of the most turnover-prone quarterbacks in the NFL. He fumbles more than he throws touchdowns. He still throws about half the interceptions as he does touchdowns. He's playing like a rookie, even though he's a 3-year vet now. Sorry. If he wants any shot of keeping a starting job, he better try and win games this year. Or else it's going to be his head and the general manager for the New York Giants head. I forgot his name. David Gettleman. There we go. It's going to be a fight for David Gettleman and Daniel Jones' jobs for this year. If they don't win, they're out of there. The defense is still pretty good. They had a huge turnaround last year, and I expect them to hold that turnaround this year. They brought in Kyle Rudolph to give hands to Evan Ingram. That should improve things a little bit. The offensive line, it's still pretty suspect. I don't see them going any more than six wins. I have them at 6-11, third place in the NFC East. Up next, in second place in the NFC East, I got the Dallas Cowboys going 8-9. Forget the fact that the Hard Knocks curse might not be a thing. Dak Prescott coming back is going to instantly help them win more games, but that defense is still awful. They brought in Keanu Neal from the Falcons, who was in one of the worst secondary last year. Statistically speaking, he was in one of the worst secondaries. They brought in. I know they drafted Micah Parsons. That should help him in the middle, especially if Van Der Esch goes down with an injury. That defense, other than Van Der Esch, Micah Parsons, they really got nothing going for them at that front. That defense is going to be the death of them come later on during the NFC East. I have them going 8-9 and second place in the East. First, we got. All right, disclaimer. I'm calling them this until they get an actual name. In the first place, we got the Washington Redskins going 9-8. Ryan Fitzpatrick is a wild card in more ways than one, but he's going to win you more games, especially with these weapons around him. Plus, if he screws up, the defense will surely fix that. They can easily bring down the opponent. They were top 3 in the league last year, I think. Joy, if I'm wrong, put it somewhere. I know they were in the top 5, but I think they were top 3 also. That defense is only going to get better. Chase Young is a budding superstar and a Defensive Player of the Year candidate this year. And I have them winning the division at 9-8. The NFC East is still going to be the NFC least, but at least they're improving some. All right, now to the last 2 divisions. The AFC West. We already know, based on this, how it's going to go. Just the fact that the two main stories in the AFC East is how big of a bloodbath it is going to be between the 2 top teams. So I'll get to the losers here first. In last place in the AFC West, we got the Raiders at 7-10, and John Gruden's going away. The defense, especially that secondary, is awful. John Gruden has made some awful drafting decisions. Derek Carr is still going to be playing at a proficient level. He still has the weapons around him to do so. Josh Jacobs is still going to be good. Darren Waller is still going to be awesome to watch. That defense is going to be the death of them. I got them going 7-10, last place in the AFC West. All right, up next I got the Denver Broncos going 8-9. The Broncos really did upgrade that defense with Patrick Surtain. Von Miller's coming back, which would reinforce the linebackers pretty good. He's coming off an injury, so we don't know how much that would affect him. But I have a feeling it won't slow him down that much. if there's any weakness on this team, is the fact that they don't have an actual quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater, he's a bridge quarterback. Not even a joke. He's a bridge quarterback. Drew Lock is not a good quarterback at all. The fact that he was even a starter for most of the games last year was beyond me. He looked awful playing. He looked worse trying to be a hero. I have the Broncos going 8-9 and third place in the AFC West. All right, up next, we got the Chargers in second place at 12-5. That defense can only improve after what happened last year. Anthony Lynn is no longer fucking up play calls and clock management. They got a better coach who was the defensive coordinator for the LA Rams, which was first in the league in most defensive categories. I have a feeling that most of that will translate to this defense. Joey Bosa is still going to be a good player as ever. Kenneth Murray, I have high hopes for Really, the only way this team could go is up from this point on. Last year was a bum season, but there was a lot of hope for this year. I hope the Chargers eventually get that hope because they've been through enough. They've been through more than enough the past few years, and they freaking deserve to go to the playoffs this year. All right, first in the AFC West, you could probably already guess, the Kansas City Chiefs. I got them going 14-3. After the Super Bowl last year, they completely overhauled that offensive line. They lost Sammy Watkins, but that won't be much of a factor since Tyreek Hill already gets the majority of those targets. The running game is still pretty suspect. The defense is still anchored by Tyrann Mathieu and Frank Clark. There really should be no worry about the Chiefs winning games this year. It'll be up to the defense to show up and keep playing a full 60 minutes. And it'll be up to Patrick Mahomes to stay healthy and to keep making the right decisions as he's passing the ball. I have the Chiefs going 14-3 and winning the AFC West. I'm a fucking idiot. I'm going to be crucified. All right, last division. We got the NFC West. Starting at the bottom, we got the Arizona Cardinals. What the hell? The thing that happened with AFC South happened here. How are the Cardinals ahead of the 49ers? All right, this is the last time I use playoff predictors for a video. All right. At the bottom of the list, we got the San Francisco 49ers going 12-5. They were shredded apart by injuries last year. There's no way dancing around that. If it wasn't for them getting injured, they probably would have made the playoffs last year. Every single starter they had went down with an injury at some point. They lost Jimmy Garoppolo week 2. They lost Nick Bosa week 2. Most of their offense by week 5. Most of their defense by week 7. It was just a fucking bloodbath for the injury gods this year. I have them all healing up, recuperating, and then coming back to try and get back into the playoffs. I do have them getting back to the playoffs, actually, based on this bracket. And there's going to be a bit of a quarterback controversy with the fact that they drafted Trey Lance to replace Jimmy Garoppolo. But as long as Jimmy Garoppolo plays good, he won't be getting his pink slip any soon. I have them going 12-5 and being last in the AFC West. NFC West. Ugh. I'm not good at improvising. All right, next we got the Arizona Cardinals going 10-7 in third place in the NFC West. Kyler Murray is still a treat to watch. Him and D-Hop probably have the best quarterback and receiver duo in the league. They're going to be winning some games by less than one score because of that defense and given the fact that they have a tendency to be shootouts. But I think Kyler Murray proves himself this year. I think Cliff Kingsbury finally gets a hold of what to do in the NFL level. I think everything goes their way as far as defense is concerned. I think J.J. Watt might have a career resurgence after getting out of that hellhole that was Texas or the Texans. It's sad to see Malcolm Butler go, but personal issues are personal issues, and personal issues come first before any, deeply family personal issues come before anything else in your life. And I think Butler made the right decision. So happy retirement for him, and I hope he does good. I have the Arizona Cardinals going 10-7 and third place in the NFC West. All right, next we got the Seattle Seahawks going 12-5. Shoot me if you want, but I think Russell Wilson is probably one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the league. He's good for about 5 weeks, then just falls off a cliff. And he's in the MVP talk. Oh, he's doing good, he's doing good. Then he just has a series of games where he just falls off a cliff. That defense is still pretty bad. The offense, based on its firepower, they still got DK Metcalf. They still got Tyler Lockett. That passing game is going to be pretty good. It all really depends on Pete Carroll's coaching and his clock management. If they can get their shit together, I have them winning 12 games. But it will really all depend on whether Russell Wilson will stop doing this hot and cold mess and finally get his shit together. I've been going 12-5 and second place in the NFC West. All right, first place. I have the Los Angeles Rams going 13-4. Matt Stafford is already a huge upgrade over Jared Goff, and he's finally free from the hell that was the Detroit Lions. I am sorry, Joey, you wasted the man's career. Don't argue with me. You know it's true. Just like you wasted Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders. The Rams already have one of the best defenses in the league. They still got the reigning defensive player of the year, Aaron Donald. They got Jalen Ramsey. There's really no reason to think that the Rams will not just pretty much take the division for themselves probably later in the year. Cam Akers went down with an injury. They got Sony Michel as a replacement. I don't know how good that's going to be, but I don't think it's going to be pretty good. So they're going to be relying pretty heavily on this passing game. Sean McVay is still one of the league's best coaches, and I have them going 13-4, winning the NFC West. That was a fucking horror show. I do not have to fucking improvise like that ever a fucking again. Next time I really gotta do a script. Alright, as far as playoff scene is concerned, in the AFC, first place, we got the Buffalo Bills, the first seed. The second seed, we got the Cleveland Browns. The third seed, we got the Kansas City Chiefs. The fourth seed, we got the Tennessee Titans. The fifth seed, we got the LA Chargers. The sixth seed, we got the Baltimore Ravens. The seventh seed, we got the Denver Broncos. In the NFC, the first seed, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The second seed, the LA Rams. The third seed, the Green Bay Packers. The fourth seed, the Washington Redskins. The fifth seed, the Seattle Seahawks. The sixth seed, the Arizona Cardinals. The seventh seed, the San Francisco 49ers. Apparently an entire division that can make the playoffs somehow. Alright. That's it for my record predictions for this year. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You can disagree with me if you want. I'm not going to argue it. Everybody has their own opinions. These are just mine. Again, I'm probably going to be crucified by a couple of people. Probably going to be hounded on Joy's Discord server by troll about supposedly being a biased buck. I'm not biased. Sure. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have your own predictions for the NFL season, put them in the comments down below. I'm going to try and also do record predictions later on in the year for the OKC Thunder, maybe the Detroit Red Wings, or maybe I don't know. All I know is that I don't know shit about either sport, so I'm only going to try and do my teams only and see how they do. But yeah, if you guys want to share your own predictions, put them down in the comments. If you want to see more like this, let me know. Comment down below if you want me to do anything else. Reactions, I do reactions. I got an editor now, hi Joey, who is doing pretty good right now. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see me do more content. Hit the like button. Ring the bell whenever I post again. And as always, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye. Go Bucks. Fire the cannons. Fuck the Saints.